Celeritas. My name's Webbo. I'm your commentator tonight and joined in the booth by Mr. Impossible Bacon.
Hello there.
Hey Bacon, good to have you with us. You're not racing tonight,
Sadly.
but your teammates, have you been preparing with them?
Not as much as I would have liked, but we should still have a decent chance.
Good stuff. So, will you be imparting any race engineer type wisdom to them through the race?
Depends on if they look at their phones.
Well, let us know if you're watching along. Let us know who you're supporting, who you're here to support, and what you're expecting from tonight. We're heading to Barcelona. It's round 7, so we tick over into the second half of the championship. Currently, it's all about BMW Sauber and their team, but mostly through the efforts of Beetle, OWP team have been staking something of a claim and a challenge to their position on the top. Beetle winning and doing incredibly well. But of course, he's had nearly all of his time in the driving seat. He'll have to rotate to his fellow teammates if he can find enough. I'm not sure if they've got a full team at the moment. But the format of Formula C is teams of 3 drivers who alternate to make sure that we have a teams championship overall. I think in general people do tend to enjoy race engineering for each other and practicing, giving each other tips and tricks. And it looks like Price is the first one out on track. Bacon.
Yeah, he's still getting used to this livery, honestly. It's simple, but it's nice.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. It's not one of my favourites, but it's not bad at all. Interesting, we've got a new team debuting tonight called Fraun GP. So we'll take a look at their car once they hit the track. In fact, I think they're just on their way out. No, they're still in the pits. Okay, we'll wait for them. I think they're represented by Towney and Frypepper. Frypepper, who showed very well in his debut on our weekend race.
Here he comes.
Is he on his way out now?
Yep, on mediums. A lot of the field, well, not a lot, but
showing some
quite a couple
confidence
field.
Then, yeah. So it's a dual pink and maroon kind of livery. First impressions, Bacon?
I honestly, when I first saw it in the Discord, I thought it was maybe the best out there because it's got a nice blend of like, I don't know, it's better than most of the default liveries. So
I suppose so. I think something of a question mark whether it's pink or salmon. I think is the. I mean, with those scales, it certainly looks salmon. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's anything to challenge Versace Couture or even Atlas GP. Who's sadly missing tonight. But certainly original. We'll value that for sure. We'll join Frypepper on his lap. I know he's got a good turn of speed. If you fancy talking us through his performance or the track itself, that'd be great.
So coming into turn 1, it's a very heavy braking zone, quite a nice overtaking spot as Vince gets disqualified. Coming up the hill, bit of traffic. It's flat all the way up the hill, keeping it nice and as far to the left as you can. Coming around the turn and down the hill, down to about 2nd, 3rd-ish, get that rotation in. You want to get a really nice exit out of this corner right here to set you up for climbing up the hill. Maybe a little lift so you don't bin it into the wall on the right. It's probably the best overtaking spot on the track with the amount of overspeed and DRS. tiny little chicane. If you get on the curb too much, you can unsettle your car. Coming into this corner with about, yeah, 4th, down to 3rd, maybe 2nd. You want to get as much on the apex as you can and as wide out as you can. And open the DRS as early as possible.
So nice stuff from CLES1FCR6, 1:15.6, which is just slightly beaten by Bruder. Bruder in the Versace. Towney comes through. He's driving, I think, is he driving OWP? No, he's driving in the Audi, so he's got a 15.6 as well. Lots of very close times at the top. Early first laps from Snarf, Beetle, Fabio. Fabio here for OWP. I think it might be Fabio's first race because he's been away with work, but he's back in the championship. Hopefully he's had some time to practice. I'm just looking at Lankavas and made a mistake on the way into the Mickey Mouse section at the end of the track, which I despise. I don't know about you, Bacon. I can't stand that.
I really hate it. You touch the curb and you'll go flying and you have no grip.
Absolutely. Well, Pinty's got a fan with us tonight. Matthias is here to support Pinty, and Waits is here as well. Waits is going to be a spotter, I'm sure, for us, because he's always eyes open. Anybody else on track at the moment? I'm
Storm
sorry, Storm. I keep cutting
like
to Storm on stream, and he either loses it or has lost it already. Man. Not cool, because Storm really needs some good results in his own league. Let's have a look at Pricey. He's just warming up, getting a big wide start to the lap. He's gone out on mediums as well. Might be good for me to actually look at who's on what, because that puts CLES1FCR's lap into perspective a little bit. Medium tyres with only just past pole. Look how wide Pricey takes the first corner, completely straddling the outside curb.
Nice and tight. Gives you a lot of speed.
Bags of grip on these mediums. He's obviously prepared them well. Perfect first sector for him. It's tricky with the first laps because sometimes the purples are misleading. But
it's usually sector 2 that's the most misleading purple.
Flat through here. Greedy on that apex, wasn't he? Yeah.
Almost lost the car. You could have taken that maybe a bit wider.
I know you mentioned that turn 10 as being one of the best overtaking spots on the grid. We'll enjoy it this year because next year we'll kiss goodbye to turn 10 as we know it, as we've just seen in real life with the new profile. Let's see where Pricey comes here. Let's open the DRS. 15.7. So heat 4 for Pricey. Bruder's still on top. Looks like CLES1FCR is coming out on softs to have another attack.
I don't think he needs to come out on the softs, honestly.
I don't either. I think, if he's made that decision, why not stick with it? But maybe just looking for pole, all the same. Ivan's on a hot lap for Moving Chicane Motorsport. Unfortunately, Moving Chicane have been somewhat living up to their I think what was intended to be an ironic name, but they do generally they do generally take the foot of the field, particularly in qualifying. But yeah, hopefully these guys will get some better pace. I don't see Ivan doing particularly well on mediums. But hey, maybe he'll surprise us. Perhaps took a little bit too much out of turn 5. Compromised him up the hill. 6, 7,
Quite a
8.
nice exit out there, though.
Very nice.
Lock up as well.
Head out and have a look. CLES1FCR appears to still be reading the pits. So I don't know if he...
Maybe he's just sitting there.
Yeah. Let's see where this time puts Ivan. I'm assuming he'll go faster than Lightning. And he gets a 69, so near the foot of the field as Josh, debutant for Audi. No, sorry, Josh is in the New Zealand Fawn GP. He just gets a pole position with a 15.5. So still very close to the top. Bacon. Oh, there goes Beetle. Nice, 15.3. So everybody within half a second in the top 6. This looks pretty tight. Bacon, are these the kind of times you're expecting, or do you think there's more to come?
I think we can maybe see a 114.
Really?
After the very end, when the trick is most ripped up out of Baby Beetle might do it. I'd assume Fry Pepper can do it, considering the tyre delta around here in quali is about a second. So
right.
He's definitely got at least an extra second in his pace on the softs.
Wow, okay. Well, we'll look out for that. Lankavas has started a new lap. Just saw Sequinith invalidating his first attempt. Sadly, he will have to go again. How important for your confidence and comfort level is that early banker lap, Bacon?
I'll tell you, it's very important. I've not been having good bankers recently for myself, and it really puts you out of tune, especially when you've done a lot of practice and really put time into the races that you're doing.
Yeah. Oh, Lankavas loses it. That's not going to be a good lap from him. So yeah, coming through turn 11, just grabbed too much traction. I have to reset and try again. He's obviously just getting out of the way of the other drivers. Storm's on a fly now. Let's hang with Storm. He's stopped by on the stream to say hello. I think he's listening in tonight. Hopefully we won't put him off or say anything distracting for him. Maybe he's watching with the sound off. That would be possibly smart, especially if you're on a hot lap.
What's the football schedule like for Pricey as well?
Yeah, I'm afraid to say I don't know. I imagine Chelsea aren't playing. My son's a Chelsea fan, so it's usually stressful when they're playing in the house. So Storm, nice and smooth as usual with his driving style. Very smooth, very easy on the tyres on the car. Goes through 15.8, puts in P8. Two spots at the moment behind his teammate in BMW Sauber. And,
very close to Lightning as well.
Indeed, yeah. Lightning's obviously managed to pop in a much better time through there than his earlier time. So his first time was registered as a 127. So unless he was going around on inters, I think that was just a glitch or a mistake early on. So currently Beetle has pole from Josh, and we've got Bruder in third with Fry Pepper in fourth. Everybody just back in the pits at the moment, it seems.
Very close to the 114s there.
Yeah, so Monarch from nowhere really puts in a P1, 1:15.1. That's tidy, very tidy time from him. Excellent stuff. Not always the fastest team, but I know that they seemingly work very well together. I think they do practice and talk setups and all the kind of things that we designed Formula C to fulfill, which was to bring the speed of everybody up and promote good, clean team racing. Price is on a lap at the moment, Bacon. No, he's not. He's just gone out on the grass.
We haven't invalidated though, and he's keeping it going.
Yeah, I presume it looked like he kind of backed off a little, but maybe not.
He has low fuel.
Interesting.
We'll see when he gets to the second split, I guess.
Holding 6th gear through turn 8. Sorry, turn 9. Oh no, he's comfortably over. I'm sure he'll pop out from there. Beetle has gone really aggressive and invalidated his lap. Is there time to come in and bail and go out again at this point?
You definitely could, but you don't want the AI to take over your car if you're like one of the first to come across the line when qualifying or the checkered flag drops, because then your AI keeps on going around the circuit and it takes up tire grip. So definitely want to set it before the flag drops.
Yeah. Here comes Tom HC in Cyan Racing. He needs a time. He needs to get a time on the board. He locks up into turn 10. Down to third for turn 12. I like fourth in that corner, but finding the car gets away from you very easily, just like it does through these bumpy, tough chicanes. Head towards the line. 15.3, very nice early time from Tom. So just in time there. I doubt he'll get round unless he backs back to backs. This is on mediums, Bacon, a 15.3. So very, very nice position for him.
I think that might bring a fried pepper out soon.
I would imagine so, yeah. Just watching Bruder, who's on the early part of his next lap. He's a 10th under through sector 1. We've got, is that FedEx asking in the chat a question I can't give you the answer to. Go and talk to our Division 1 editor for the question there. That would be BMW used to be. Who, ironically, isn't driving for BMW Sauber. Invalidation from Bruder. Yeah.
Just a little bit greedy coming out of line, I think that is.
It was indeed. We've got Towney invalidated. This is the point where it's just a lottery as to who you get on a lap that's either going to bang in a good lap or they're going to invalidate because they're driving aggressively. Where's Fry Pepper? He's sitting in the garage. He's playing it cool. He wants to be one of the last ones out there, I think.
He might just barely get around with enough time. Someone's come up. Yes, I think that's Storm. Yep. Just now coming out, so around now is when you want to be coming out of the pits if you want to get to that checkered flag in time.
Absolutely. Welcome to Petter in the chat. Not seen you before with us. You're very welcome. And Petter's here to cheer on Ivan. I definitely think Ivan might not be the best overall on pure lap time, but he is a very good and fair and clean racer. So definitely give him props for that. Monarch is just warming the car up here. I think it'd be really good to stay with him as the pole setter and see if he's got anything else. Certainly through the first sector anyway. He's really crawling around.
Make sure he's got a lot of clean air, which he already had.
But the thing is, someone could come out of the pits any minute and screw this up for him. But it's full send, full attack. He's got nothing to lose. He's already got pole, so he can afford to really, really push. Another person who goes really wide through turn 1.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a nice line.
Gets a little bit away from the curb, but that's alright.
Yeah, doesn't use the full width of the track potentially, but gets a shade,
just under.
1/100th under, so clearly maximising his lines here. That looked on the very limit of locking, but didn't. Down the hill. Looked like that was slightly sideways.
No, a little bit. Very nice. Definitely underfueled the car.
He's really doing well. Yeah, so he's under already. This could be your magic 114, Bacon, from Monarch.
Fried Pepper is also out on softs as well.
Excellent. We'll stay with Monarch just in case he manages to dip below that 114, because that's what we want to be seeing, and then we'll head out to a different car. Here comes Monarch. Monarch crosses the line at 114.7. He gained huge amounts of time in that final sector.
That came from sector 3, yeah.
Wow, like amazing job. Really, really special lap time. Fry Pepper has invalidated. He won't be starting any higher than 6th. Sadly, so has Bruder. He's out of it. Josh is slightly under in this brand new car. Massive lockup down into turn 10 and steps this back out on the way into 11 at the same time, so that's not going to be anything special from him. Storm is just ahead of him on track, half a second up on his own time, bouncing across the curbs there through the end of the lap, opens the DRS, and boom, wow, amazing time from Storm, a P2 on a 1:15.1.
Very close.
That came out of nowhere for Storm. Terrific work from him. Beetle invalidated his last lap as well.
That's it.
Yeah, unless Gwyneth is suddenly going to do magic tricks. He's in the pits. So, looks to be it, Bacon. Amazing shock at the end there with Storm getting up to P2. He won't thank me for that.
It's going to be very interesting. There's a couple people on mediums in the top 10.
Absolutely. Well, let us give us a read through of the grid, if you will.
Monarch on pole position, setting a 1:14.7. Very fast lap there, followed by Storm. On softs with Tom on mediums. He's probably going to be the man to watch in this race. Beetle in 4th. Josh UNKN on softs in 5th. Bruder following him. Fry Pepper on mediums in 7th. Very close to his teammate there on mediums compared to the softs that Josh set. Towney in 8th, Pricey in 9th, Lightning in 10th for the top 10.
Brilliant. Yeah, so people to watch out for and remember in the race. I think definitely you've got Fry Pepper and Tom look to be strong with the alternate strategy. What's your pick of the strategy tonight, Bacon? Is it a one-stop?
With the likelihood of safety cars around just the league race in general, I like to start on the softs because if a safety car does come out, I can go onto the mediums pretty much instantaneously if I need to. Starting on the mediums, you get caught out by that, but if it's a early safety car like 1 or 2, you're pretty much safe. So yeah, I don't really like the hards around here. Some people do.
But it's an option for some.
Yeah, it's definitely an option. I don't think it'll be an option for the soft runners at the start because you'll just have so much tyre wear by the end. The softs go off around here at like lap 7.
Yeah.
So, not expecting many hard runners.
Excellent. Okay, well, Pinty will start at the back for moving chicane. Lankaras with him for Blaze Motorsport. And we've got Fabio making a welcome return to the league, but I think just missing out on a little bit of practice for OWP. He'll be looking to make a good deal of places forward as he goes through the race. Gwyneth in 13th, starting down the field for Blaze Motorsport. Yeah, not a good qualifying for them. Similarly for Ivan moving chicane, both teammates quite far back in the order. We've got Snarf for the Cyan Racing team, Tom's teammate. Quite like the colour combination for Cyan Racing. And Lightning starting P10. I think he's on mediums, yeah. So again, looking for a good strategy option, and the guys behind him won't have quite the advantage that they would normally start with, starting P11 and higher up. A lot more drivers starting on mediums than we're used to, Bacon, isn't there?
I guess that's due to the pace differential which Formula C has.
Bruno is cheering you on tonight, Bacon. So I'm not sure He's quite with the program tonight. um, but yeah, good luck anyway, Bacon, tonight if you're going to do that. But a reminder then, at the front of the grid is Monarch, Storm and Tom, with Beetle, Josh and Bruder behind. Expect the medium drivers to struggle at the start with initial grip, but I do think they're in a good position for the rest of our race if they can get through the first few laps safely. So we've got 5 lights. It's lights out. It's away we go at Celeritas, Formula C race, round 7. Storm, a sluggish start for Storm on difficult, I guess, cold tyres. He's got the OWP of Beetle coming up the inside. He's got the Fraun GP going around the outside. It looks like Tom has done amazingly on the first lap to get up into P2 safely. But Monarch storms away, as you can only expect him to do from pole. You've got the 2 BMW Saubers are close together, with Pricey having made up a few places. Josh in 6th right now, with Bruder in 7th, and Frypepper currently in P8. Any big losses or contact you saw, Bacon, further down?
Towney having a little spin coming through turn 2 via contact. I'm not sure who it was by, but
okay.
Definitely back there and lost all the positions that he could have.
Yeah.
Sadly.
Yeah, so back down to 16th for Towney. We'll be hoping for better as Josh gets up the inside of Pricey, who's having none of it. Through there, through I think turn 12 it was, but he's stayed very close to him, just backed out of it enough, and he will try and catch that slipstream down. Well, it's a pretty long straight here in Catalonia. Looks like he's...
I don't like it.
You don't like it?
It's too easy to pass with the DRS.
Looks like, is that Quinn further down? Lankavas has had a stormer, I think, catching up here, but I think I was looking at, yeah, Lankavas up 12 places. I think we're just waiting for the tower to catch up, but he is quite high up compared to his start place. 5 places as it finally organises itself. Josh is still really tight with Pricey here. Pricey's on the mediums, Josh is on softs, so Josh needs to get by pretty quickly.
The pit window is not nice around here. It's only 7 laps for the softs and somewhere around 14 for the mediums, so if he wants to get ahead of him overall, he needs to get by very soon.
Absolutely, I hope that he can stretch a lead as well. Storm up in P4, he started 2nd. He is on soft tyres, so he's on a split strategy with his teammate. They're covering their bases, BMW Sauber, and it has surprised me a lot that that our Formula C teams haven't done that a bit more, Bacon.
Yeah, I think this is just the pace differential between some teammates.
Yeah.
Some a lot closer together than others, so you split, one person's going to get left out in the dry. So it's just better to have one person that's better with tyre wear go longer into the race.
Absolutely, yeah. Tom is getting quite close, and he's just dropped back slightly from Monarch through the high downforce section and fast turn 4. So Monarch trying to keep him at bay, but remember that Tom is on those mediums, so he's in a good position for the race. Josh tucked right up behind Pricey here. He's going to lose grip coming through turn 9, and that's going to cost him on the way down to 10. Doesn't get close enough to try and move. Sadly for him, it looks like Frypepper challenging as well. Frypepper, the designer of the Fraun GP livery, so compliments or complaints, send them his way.
Quinnet is around turn 11. Back to the grid for him, sadly. Might throw a spanner into the works for his strategies. He's got a missing end plate now, but he'll definitely pick up
decision
some
time for him. Yeah, decision time for him when it comes to...
Oh!
What are you seeing now?
Spinned it into the pit wall.
Oh.
Somehow hasn't retired, but he's missing all of his wing now.
Okay. that wouldn't... I don't think that's the first time we've seen Gwyneth aggressive into the pitch, shall we say. So the battle for 4th, 5th, 6th is pretty close here on track, but it's just that slightly uncomfortable gap where it's really hard to hang with the driver in front through the fast corners. Hopefully they have all got DRS now, but it's a bit of a DRS train forming behind Beetle in 3rd currently. As I said, Beetle having a really good... He's currently leading the Drivers' Championship, but he will have to sit out virtually the rest of the season because he's had to drive the whole of the first half of the season.
It's just a sitting duck here. He's out of DRS range. He might be on the faster tyres, but they're going to start losing grip quite soon.
Yeah, here comes Storm. He's got a good drive out of the final corner. Beetle defends to the inside. There's multiple lines through these corners though, and Storm will get the inside through 2. Beetle hangs on and gets the inside into 3, 4. This could mean though that Storm is able to attack. He does try getting at the inside, but Beetle knew the distance it concerned and was able to hang on. Beetle's tyres not looking great. He's just locked up on the way into P6, and it looks like we've lost Gwyneth. Was that on track? Yeah, a VSC.
Yeah,
Quinn, what is happening? What is happening? Yeah, Matthias asks, what do you do to join the league? Well, Matthias, you can join the Discord. There's a link within the YouTube channel, or certainly your friend can hook you up with an invite. And there's a process and some rules to agree to. But yeah, it'd be great to have more people join the league. So find that link in the YouTube channel. I think it's in the description of every video, but certainly in the about page if you want. Anyway, we're under virtual safety car, and Storm decides this is the moment to pit. So, and Monarch ahead of him. Interesting tactics. So only lap 6, but you're saying that that's quite close to the end of life for these softs.
Yes, Jeff projects for you to come in for 7 by default. I can, personally, I can make them go a lot further into 8 or 9. The projected is around 7, so maybe a little bit too early.
We're back to green racing. Monarch went on mediums. Storm opted for hards. Now Storm's usually pretty shy on hard tyres, but he has got some strategy options available to him. This one should see him go to the end, but it's going to be a tricky few laps as he warms them up.
I don't know if I like the idea of him going on hards.
Not a fan.
No.
Well,
Spain is a 2-stop.
he was a bit hampered there. He was certainly being cost time chasing down Beetle. He felt, I'm sure, like he had more speed, because he won't have more speed on the hard tyres. So it looks like it's going to be a cautious threading his way through the grid kind of a race for Storm, if that's to work for him. And obviously safety cars and things can be a help. Here comes Fry Pepper on his teammate, overtaking Josh down the main straight. Job done. Didn't make that difficult, which yeah, he's got a different shade of pink on the car, Josh, so not quite on brand yet. But yeah, the Prawn GP, the new team. Do you know, I think I'm going to call them Prawn GP with this colour scheme. So yeah, that just occurred to me. Apologies to the team, but yeah, they're going to have to be Prawn GP if they're pink. Pricey is in 3rd at the moment, right behind Beetle, so it's his turn to attack. He didn't really have a strategy option that Storm had. It looks like soft tyres on Beetle. I mean, we looked at them a few laps ago and they were looking a bit ropey. He's having to go defensive. I think he's hit the cliff, Bacon.
Yeah. definitely needs to come in now. If it was me, I would come in for mediums. I think he might come in for hards.
And then leave yourself the option open to go. No, he stays out. This is going to almost certainly see him lose second place almost immediately. These tyres are done for. But you've got the option, if you go onto mediums now, of either having a second set of mediums or going onto softs.
Yeah, the only issue with going on the softs is you've got to stretch the mediums and tyre wear around here. But the nature of the circuit and how long the corners hold on for it really takes life out of the tyres.
Just watched Josh retake his teammate and actually cost his teammate time and having to defend against Snarf, who's watching on. Josh has the soft tyres. It didn't look quite as cooperative, that overtake. So I'm not quite sure if the team orders are particularly clear. They certainly weren't clear enough to get the same colour scheme on the cars. So we'll have to see if they can play a bit nicer together. Josh will definitely be pitting earlier, so if he's costing Fry Pepper speed on the track, that was a pretty unusual move.
Unless he's thinking of getting him DRS down this straight as they pass the activation zone.
And he pits, so that seems like an entire waste of time to me to hold your teammate up for 3/4 of a lap.
He lost a lot of time there, but he got the DRS from his teammate, so maybe that was the plan. I guess that,
yeah, that's incredibly intelligent if that was their plan. Fry Pepper getting away now from Snarf on the same tyres. Beetle's hanging out. He's still out there on those soft tyres. So I wonder if he's trying to make a one-stop to medium strategy work here. He didn't look like he had much to fight Pricey, and at the front of the field, Tom is pulling away at quite the rate of knots. I think Pricey is going to halt that progress though now that he's cleared Beetle. So keep an eye on 5.2 seconds, Tom to Pricey. At the moment, your closest battle is between Fry Pepper and Beetle. I thought Snarf was with him, but he's gapped Snarf, and we've got Lankavas quite close to Pinty further down the field. But we will focus on this battle right now. Yeah, have to really locks up into the chicane. Come on, Beetle, it's time. And Fry Pepper gets his DRS, breathes a sigh of relief, and heads on into his next lap. Lankavas managed to get Pinty, fighting for the lower order, albeit in Formula C we do have points for every finisher, so always worth getting the car to the end. Oh, Lankavas, big wiggle coming out of turn 11. A nice helicopter shot. It looks like Lankavas's tyres, I think they're cold. I think that's the problem, is they're only 1 lap old. Right now the hard runners are Storm, who pitted from 4th, started 2nd. Josh has gone on to hards, and Beetle. So Beetle is trying to make hards run to the end, I'm assuming. So
maybe he wasn't as confident on the tyre wear as the other two.
23 laps for the hards. That seems doable.
Sounds doable.
I mean, I definitely think Storm has thought this through and knows the length that the hards will run. He's very good at trying different strategic options in practice. So I think if Storm can do it, I would have thought Beetle would be able to on 2 or 3 lap less age.
Lankavas is around.
Right, we got a yellow flag, and that was Lankavas. Yeah, he's in the grass. He's missing an end plate, possibly a front wing element. So just feeling the car out, feeling the grip. That looks like time to head it back into the pits for Lankavas. Meanwhile, let's see how Josh is doing on these new hard tyres. Coming up behind Beetle, clears Beetle really easily actually. So did all the work in the 3rd sector, and leaves the OWP teammates to play together, and is driving away from them at a rate of knots. Tom opened up that gap slightly, and Pricey has caught himself a penalty. in trying to catch him. So the first penalty prize looks like it goes to Pricey, despite Quinn's best efforts prior to his pit stop. I don't think he actually got a penalty earlier on. Not that it matters.
Right thing there.
So Lankavas getting out the way.
Yeah, he's retired in the pits. So.
I mean, that is the right thing, except that you give points to finishers in.
Well, I mean, he could have continued. But...
Respect for not rage quitting, but yeah, his team might not be best pleased with him. That's a double DNF for Blaze Motorsport. I imagine the third driver for Blaze is spitting feathers right now, screaming at the screen. So yeah, there'll be an interesting debrief to be had for those guys. Not interested in small points, I guess, tonight. It looks like we've got Fry Pepper in the pits with Lightning. These guys, their mediums have had enough on lap 12. Fry Pepper also getting a new wing on. And they are, yeah, going for hard. So people favouring that one stop tonight.
But, and Ivan picks up a penalty. Would have thought the real GP was anything to go by. You don't do a one stop around here.
Yeah. No, that's very much true. We'll see how everybody else gets those medium tyres, how far everyone else gets those medium tyres. But yeah, kind of a surprise to see so many hard runners at this point.
Seems a little bit too early for the mediums to be going off, like, in my opinion. But
yeah.
They're the ones driving the cars, they know how the grip feels and how the car feels.
Price has had enough on those tyres. Lap 11 turning into lap 12 was enough for him. He heads into the pits. He picks up a penalty a couple of laps ago. Snarf heads on through, so does Monarch, who has already pitted. He's now on mediums. And Storm, I imagine, is going to come through past Pricey. There he goes. Might even be a battle down into turn 1 for Josh. Yeah, as Pricey grabs a huge amount of apex into turn 1 in defence. He'll be trying to warm those tyres up while Josh is enjoying that. I think Josh is really enjoying these hard tyres right now.
The only issue here is he's got a lot less ERS than Pricey, so Pricey can defend quite hard, whereas Josh is just going to struggle to get by him. Right.
I mean, Pricey definitely fancies himself as the king of ERS, I think. I know he's pretty critical of people who use up their ERS in the early stages of a race.
Tom is in.
Tom from the pits, from the lead, excuse me, into the pits. Yeah, so I wonder what tyre he will go on to. I'm sure he'll be watching everybody else's strategy. He drops a place to Snarf, who stays out. Snarf's been cruising around, treating those tyres pretty carefully. He's on the oldest tyres at this stage, given that Fabio and Pinty are a fair distance back.
That's a huge gap there. 5 seconds-ish, splitting P3 to P4, so...
Yeah.
Staying out definitely was the right thing to do and extend it by just a lap.
We just lost Pricey, who turns the car around on the way out of turn 3. I'm pretty sure that was alone because the gaps are quite big at that point. Towney's retired. I don't know if that was in the pits or not, or we're going to end up with a problem. We've got a yellow. It's in the pits. Okay, well, he clearly made contact with something. We've Bruder, in overtaking Pricey, managed to save something of a shocker, of a tank slapper through there, as you've got Lightning pushing past Pricey, who won't take that kindly. Pricey struggling. His tyres are cold. They're dirty, and he's got very little to battle against these other drivers. Lightning in his own race, battling with Bruder. I'm sure Lightning... And Bruder turns the car around under traction. Immediately ghosts, and yeah, Lightning gifted 7th place, gifted a place presumably from Pricey's mistake, and Bruder on the same lap, while Lightning backs it up into Turn one, people are really struggling on these tyres, these fresh hards. It's all about the warm-up lap, and it's just really, really difficult. Your first lap out the pits, braking.
The exact reason why I don't like the hards. They
And
take too long to warm up.
Pricey's gone into the pits, I think, to mend some damage potentially, but he's he's taken those hards off, and I presume he's going to try and make mediums run 18 laps. From here.
Yeah, that sounds a little bit like a stretch, honestly.
Yeah.
It's definitely doable, but it's a stretch.
Okay. He'll be hoping for a safety car or a lengthy VSC periods, as Josh is battling against Storm. Storm is on those hard tyres that he's hoping. He was the first hard pitter, and he's hoping to get him to the end. But right now, Josh has got better pace on slightly fresher hard tyres. I think Josh has just got a little bit better race setup going on.
Yeah, it looks like he's not as loose into the corners and out. So
he's got a great setup right now. Whether this costs him in tyre deg later in the race, we'll wait to see. Gets past Storm quite comfortably. Storm doesn't battle too much. I think Storm can see that Josh has got that cracking pace right now, so it'd be interesting to see. It's 8.7 seconds the gap between Tom and Josh. We can see Josh has got some good speed at the moment. What's Tom got? Tom at the moment stuck behind Monarch.
Might be a lead change here though.
It might well be. Head on to the back straight. DRS open, just bounces over the curb, so not an ideal line through there. He'll be waiting, I think, for the main straight.
Yeah, he's got a lot of VRS to play with here. Monarch's got a fair bit to defend with, but whether Tom just wants to stick with him or not, as Monarch gets very loose there.
Was that loose? Was that a deliberate tactic?
Loose.
Oh no, it's he's got a lag going on.
Yeah.
It's a connection lag. Yeah. So Tom just keeping a wide berth, I think, and that's pretty sensible when you've got a lagging driver. You never know when they're going to ghost or appear back. Monarch defends to the middle of the track. Nobody committed too much to too strong a move there. And, Tom has to sit behind him again. Josh watching on and will be trying to close that gap as much as he can.
All Beetle's around.
What happened to Beetle? On his own?
I think there might have been contact.
Okay.
Not sure.
Front wing looks intact, but yeah, I wonder what happened there. Sure, he'll let us know if there was foul play. Pricey fastest lap on the medium tyres. Most everybody else is running around on hards at the moment, so the medium runners will have that pace advantage right now. Pricey with a fully repaired car, I'm sure, after his own spin. And a bit of a tale of two halves of the race, the clean drivers and the less clean drivers from penalties, should we say. So
Ivan's only got his from speeding into the pits, I'd assume that 5 seconds for.
Yeah.
Tom's coming up to Monarch, passing him fairly easily with the DRS.
Yeah, so Tom resumes the lead. As you say, pretty easy pass, but you still got to do the work through the tight, twisty sections of the track to be able to be granted the DRS. So it's not all cheap. He certainly does. The DRS would have helped with that, but brakes heavily. Is he going for fastest lap at this point?
It looks like it, doesn't it?
Yeah, really pushing hard. Presumably in an attempt to break the toe, but I think that's all going to be done. I think he'd be broken DRS certainly by the end of the lap with his pace advantage right now. Josh didn't manage to make much in the way of progress relative to Tom, and I wonder now whether Josh's tyre deg is going to cost him, because Storm is slowly catching him. Is this the tipping point for degradation here?
Maybe. Might be a lap or two earlier, but tyre deg is definitely getting there.
Storm driving a smart race at the moment. He did lose a couple of places at the start, He was the first person to pit. There's the fastest lap on hard tyres from Tom. So that's the next thing for Pricey to try and challenge. The next bar set. Interesting.
Down on his time right now, so if he wants to go for it, he needs to get it next lap. These mediums aren't going to be kind.
Absolutely right. Yeah. A bit of a typical Catalunya kind of picture down the grid at the moment. Obviously, all these drivers are driving in a fairly high pressure situation and can make mistakes at any point. We hope to try and catch them all on the try and catch them on the stream if possible. Branch is here watching along, and oh, it looks like Chelsea are actually. Chelsea are actually playing.
Oh, Pricey.
Yeah, and and Bruno managed to tell us about that. I wonder if that had anything to do with Price's Spinola.
Maybe.
A goal then disallowed, and that'll definitely put Pricey in spin, won't it? Honestly, we've got Branch here. I was just gonna say we've lost Monarch from the session.
Let's get him a new invite.
Has he just? Yeah, he's still running. So clearly just a disco for Monarch. Thanks for that, Bacon. We'll get him on. Try and get him back in. Yeah, Branch saying that Moving Chicane Motorsport is the best team on the grid, and we can't tell him any different. Well, that's fine. We haven't seen the results yet, Branch. But if you're hoping for to lull everyone into a false sense of security, all I can say is job done on that side of things. People are feeling very secure about Moving Chicane Motorsport's current position. So currently your order on lap 20 is Tom from Monarch. We're hoping to get back in. It's Monarch's Ghost at the moment, so that's not going to be helping him out. We've got Josh, who's run those hard tyres hard at the start, followed closely by Storm, who just gets his first penalty, so not going to be helping him. We've got Snarf close enough behind Storm to challenge him on penalties for the Cyan Racing team. I see Snarf's wearing a colour coordinated helmet as Storm goes very wrong out of the turn. Gets two wheels on the gravel, saves it, but Snarf now right up close, and Storm will be on cold tyres getting traction out of the last corner. It looks like Monarch has just lost a place in the pits, losing several places as those mediums go. I wonder if he just rejoined in time for his AI to take an ill-favoured pit stop. But Snarf gets by Storm just as predicted. A little mistake there from Storm in the gravel. Just enough to allow Snarf to close in. Snarf was already getting close though.
It's like a very comfortable 1-3 now for them, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And not for the first time with Cyan Racing Team. They seem to have good races and not so good races. Not necessarily as consistent as your likes of BMW Sauber and I would say OWP, but sadly OWP not having the best of showings tonight in 6th and 11th.
Just not their day today, I guess. Spain is a very difficult track to get dialed into, I find at least.
I'm liking the colour coordination for Snarf with his helmet.
Their helmets,
very
yeah.
nice, yeah.
I wonder if that's got any hidden meaning of first and second driver.
We'll see, I've lost all the gaps on the grid tower at the moment, Bacon, so I think they're all going to start back up again. Storm's managed to stay within, stay within DRS. He's within a second, but I think he's just caught that in the slipstream because he didn't get DRS down the main straight. He's as close as anyone is in the race at the moment. See if he can stay with Snarf, fellow countrymen, Snarf and Storm.
About half the field with penalties now, so
yeah.
Could play a role further down the grid with Pricey, Fabio, and them.
Yeah, it's almost looking like a gap to the leader kind of style on the interval view. So we'll have another look at those penalties while we've got opportunity. Storm, I love the fact that Storm's ahead of Lightning. It's brilliant. So we do need more weather system named drivers, I think, to really make a proper show of things.
Storm does come before the Lightning.
Indeed. And we've got Beetle down in 6th. Fry Pepper, which I think is Chili Pepper, I'm not sure. He's in 7th for the new team that I'm going to have to call Prawn GP. We've got Monarch in 8th, having resumed, but put fresh tyres on. But yes, current penalty positions are Storm has a 3-second penalty, which would see him currently clear, stay in position with Lightning. Beetle, likewise, just about far enough away from Fry Pepper to hold his position. And then the bottom of the grid is all penalties, and I don't even want to start adding those up and work out where it puts everybody. We may well see additional penalties as they come through. But Storm is hanging with Snarf. It's really my phrase of the night. It's funny how you get stuck on certain phrases. But yeah, Storm is there with Snarf. Storm's tyres are much older than Snarf's, and we'll see what kind of progress Monarch and Pricey make on mediums relative to the other hard runners. Bruder as well, but Bruder's a little bit further down, currently catching Fabio. So it was definitely a strong showing from Versace Couture in the qualifying, but it's really not transpiring into great race positions for me. Yeah, I wouldn't. I'm going to have to call on the pole sitter curse again, I think, because it's real. It's a thing. You won't tell me different.
That's why I refuse to go on pole. It's definitely why I have a bad qualifying in T2.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, Fry Pepper closing in on Monarch here, despite the difference in tyres. So unless that is Monarch as having just passed him, I think that's
Monarch has just passed.
It's Monarch just passing, isn't it? Monarch now getting away from Fry Pepper and trying to get back up the grid. Monarch started this race on pole, so really wanting to be a lot further up than this. I'd be really disappointed, I'm sure, if he finishes off the podium.
Yeah, I think the max he could get with 7 to go is maybe just in front of Lightning, with the pace difference between the hards and the mediums around about now.
So let me play out a situation for you. Let's say we get a safety car any minute.
Okay.
Do all the top, 6, do they all decide there and then to pit for softs?
Yeah, I think that's the general idea of being on the hards around here, where if you've got a late safety car, you have the option to go onto the softs. I think Storm might be doing a 2-stop, because 18 laps on those hards isn't looking very pretty, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, so they're smoking. He's smoking them into the corners just as I go to him. Mind you, that's true of Beetle, who's also struggling on those hards. But Beetle tends to run his tyres pretty hot. Definitely see him and Ash Tube. Those guys are some of the strongest tyre wear drivers I've seen. It's very unusual to see Ash Tube heading into a corner without locking up. So
safety car coming out could help out the top 6, I'd say, though, because you cut that time in half and the field is far enough away. I think that helps Tom the most, actually, because he's got a 15-second gap.
Beetles decided to go into the pits. He was really closing on Lightning, and I guess feeling like he was being slowed by him. So if this is a late round of pit stops onto soft tyres, let's keep an eye on Beetle relative to Lightning, because they were really close, and you'd fancy that Beetle would get the undercut against Lightning. The gaps have opened up considerably. I don't think Beetle's going to make out in front of Ivan. No, Ivan gets through for moving chicane, brings moving chicane up to P8.
Just barely ahead of Pricey.
Yeah, indeed. But on soft tyres now, he's got 2 seconds to catch Ivan. And we'll see what the other drivers do. What does Lightning do at this stage, knowing that his main challenge behind him has now pitted?
All depends on his tyre wear, I guess. If the tyre wear is bad enough for Lightning, he might pit for the softs if he's got a pair that wasn't spent in qualifying, that were fresh. And that might trigger a bunch of people. Storm coming into the pits might also trigger pretty much everyone that's behind him.
Yeah. And of course that only helps Beetle further because he was the first one to go onto the softs.
But will hinder him nearing the end.
True. Absolutely. Well, the track will be more rubbered in, there'll be more grip available. I don't think there's going to be a problem getting those soft tyres to the end now, even if you're running fairly hard laps.
Ivan's in.
Okay, interesting. 13 lap old hards. Certainly seeing Storm staying out there. I wonder if Storm's just running this car really, really gently.
He's got the gap to do it.
It could be that we see Josh head into the pits. Josh is on old hards as well. Keep an eye on him because that could change the shape of the podium. But as the laps tick by, it's quite possible that someone who was planning a late stop decides against it and just wants to brave it out. The hards won't go off. The hards won't go off a cliff to the extent that the softs do and the mediums. There's more of a gradual decline, would you say?
Yeah, but like all tyres, once you get to that 75% mark, which is puncture territory, you don't really want to be on those tyres anymore. And I think Storm might be approaching that, depending on how his tyre wear is.
Yeah, and Storm, he's staying out. I can't imagine anyone will come in.
Yeah, it seems a little bit too late.
Yeah, you're not really making use of your softs then, are you, if you come out less than 6 laps to go?
Unless someone makes a late dive for fastest lap.
Yeah, interesting. Waitsy spotted that Bruder went onto hards with 7 laps to go.
Maybe a miscalculation.
It sometimes it's difficult to select all the right options on the D-pad, isn't it, on the way in? And sometimes the game certainly doesn't help you out particularly. But yeah, an interesting choice there, unless he's run all the same tyre. But very strange. Tom, though, absolutely in command of this race on lap 29. He's 17 seconds ahead of Josh, who is not slow by any stretch of the imagination. So a good debut from Josh. Storm is staying out. Storm is behind Snuff, still with him. He's not within. He is within DRS. So why is the grid?
He's got Pinky's DRS. I think that is.
Yeah. Excellent. Yeah, I saw a vaguely blue car ahead of him, a turquoisey blue, and thought it was the sign of Snuff. But no, Storm has lost a fair amount of track position.
I'm getting a 3-second there.
I don't think it's going to hurt Tom, but it just hurts his pride, I think. As Beetle on new softs gets the fastest lap, some drivers I think are struggling to get near that time in qualifying. So clearly, new softs is a good thing. Price has gone for a pit stop again as well. Is that 3 Pricey now today?
Let's have a look. Yep.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
He's
So
in the pits for a while as well, by the looks of it.
not ideal in terms of strategy. So he's coming out in 11th, just behind Ivan there. Rest
Very
of the field.
interesting thing that could happen. Tom is just outside of the pit window. Josh.
Yeah.
So he could pit for softs, which would put him in between him and Snarf, and because he's on the softer tyres, and Snarf is about there, then he could maybe help his teammate and get a 1-2 out of this.
Yeah, interesting. Although I fancy Josh perhaps wouldn't blink in that scenario. He would only stand to lose another place if he pitted, relative to Snarf, I guess. But depends how he's feeling on those tyres, I suppose.
Yeah, it's very risky if it happens, which I don't see it happening now. It's past the pit lane, but would have been interesting.
Just down the field slightly, Monarch in the Versace Couture is hot on the heels of Lightning. That's probably their closest battle at the moment, at the front end of the grid at least, with I think Pricey, Fabio are fighting at the moment. But yeah, Monarch just closing in. He's on better tyres than Lightning. And he wiggles his way through the penultimate corner and completely ruins everything I was just building up to. So thanks for that, Monarch. Always good. Looks like Ivan's just struggling around. I think Fabio might have just got him and cost him some traction out of the corner. So not great. Be looking out for Pricey to get fastest lap at this point. He's on the youngest soft tyres. Only lost one place, I think, making that pit stop, given the distance that Bruder. I don't think Bruder is ghosting right now, but yeah, not a best showing from him tonight. He's usually got more pace. I wonder what's going on. This is a bit of a Marmite track, is it, Bacon?
Yeah, you either like it or you hate it, honestly. I don't mind the track. It's treated me well, so that's probably why I don't mind it as much as most people. But it's not a nice track because you get dirty air through sector 2, which is really hard to pass.
Yeah.
You've only got like 2 or 3 places that you can overtake. As I say that, Monarch's going to come on Lightning here.
Yeah, just glitching around a little bit. So following it on board wasn't an easy experience, but yes, Monarch does get by Lightning for 5th place. Monarch is racing without penalty, so in a good position. And I think he may even stand to get Storm's place as well.
Yeah. Obviously, he'll want to try and get it on a track because you feel better when you overtake someone on track instead of penalties. But,
yeah, I don't think he'll mind.
Yeah.
Tom has got the fastest lap at the moment. Tom 17.2, clearly faster than anybody else. I think he did that on hard tyres as well.
Yes.
So yeah, stamping his authority even further on the rest of the grid. If Pricey, Beetle, Ivan can't better that on soft tyres, there's quite a big difference in pace, it seems, tonight. But Tom is a decent gap away from 2nd place, currently 22 seconds in fact. Snarf, his teammate, has closed considerably on Josh. I think Josh's tyres have had it. And here comes Snarf, DRS
as well.
Yeah, neither is Snarf. Yeah, came from a long way back and got it done. I don't think there was, it wasn't too rude. I think reasonably fair racing. But I don't think that would be Josh's position on the subject. But yeah, he certainly lost a lot of ground in the last lap to Snarf. I wonder if he made a mistake, but 23 lap versus 17 lap old hards. Not good news for Josh. Yeah, a little bit, but he's staying with him. Just get a decent camera angle. He's forcing Snarf to defend into turn 10. Snarf will just help him to the outside of the track there. Yeah.
Just Tom crosses the line.
Showing him the way. Tom wins that far ahead of everybody. Apologies, because Snarf and Josh were really fighting very hard, but Tom gets the win in Spain for Formula C and Cyan Racing.
Absolutely gone.
And here comes Snarf, his teammate, to get 2nd place. Josh really struggling for Prawn GP, and he manages to get 3rd place. So all credit to him on 24 lap old hard tyres. Storm's going to cross the line in 4th, but Monarch's going to get him. Monarch drops down further, so Lightning gets 5th. Storm holds on to his place. Fry Pepper 6th in the other Prawn GP. Monarch getting 7th. Pricey will come through. He managed to get Beetle on the last lap. So Pricey racing round, dependent on penalties. We'll wait and see. But Pricey looking...
Pricey has 9 seconds, so he's getting it for pride, I think.
Yeah. Okay, well, Pricey crosses the line. Quick. Oh. Okay, he doesn't cross the line. He waits for Beetle to slam into the back of him. Is that a tactic to try and get your rival to get a penalty? I wonder. I don't like that. I think someone needs to report Pricey for a change. Snarf gets driver of the day for Cyan Racing, and a tremendous 1-2 for that team. It's going to really help them in their battle for the championship. There is the ballerina Tom on the podium, lifts the trophy, wearing all the wrong colours in his race suit. So needs to address that really, but great drive from Tom, an all Dutch 1-2, brilliant work from him, and he was clearly the class of the field tonight.
Very dominant from him, and a very nice drive from Snarf as well.
Absolutely.
Coming from 11th to 2nd.
So your race results: Tom gets the win and the fastest lap, and probably a spare old few seconds there as well from Snarf and Josh. For the championship leading team, Storm gets 4th, followed by Lightning, Fry Pepper, Monarch, Beetle and Pricey, with Ivan making it into 10th place for moving chicane. We've got Fabio, Bruder, Pinty, all getting points today, and then our DNFs are Towney, Lankavas, and we lost Gwyneth very early in the race as well. Congratulations coming in for everybody. Looks like our podium are willing to have a chat, which is cool. Storm update on Storm's tyres, 80% at the end. So tremendous work from him to get that car to the end without punctures. That's really playing a risky game.
Yeah, I don't know if I might have been able to do that. I don't know. It was a very risky. I thought he was gonna go for a softs, but I guess he committed too hard after going too far in and had to stick with it.
Definitely, yeah. A really good race from Cyan Racing. I'm just going to have a quick look at the standings for Cyan. I won't have up to date, but I'm pretty sure they've had a really strong build up to this point in the season. They were running in 3rd place prior to tonight. We're hoping to get our drivers on the stream very soon, so stick around and we'll have a chat with them. So Cyan Racing, I'm pretty sure will be able to make definite inroads on OWP. But let's talk to... I'm just going to hang on and see if Tom turns up. I think we've got Josh already. Josh, is that you?
Yeah, good matches.
Hey, so just make sure your party audio settings are set to share for me.
They should be on, yeah.
Awesome. The stream will let us know very quickly if we can't speak to you. But 3rd place in the end there. It looked like you lost it right at the end, but those tyres had it?
No, the tyres are fine.
Really?
I pitted lap 9, I think. I stayed out on the softs as long as they were fast enough. Because I saw a few people pitted under the VSC off the softs, which I wasn't really clued up about, because I just knew those hards would be treacherous at the end. But
right.
I went for an undercut, which is why I didn't go to lap 10, and it paid off at the end, so I know probably saved me time doing it.
Good stuff. It looked like you were struggling on the last lap there as Snarf got past you, but was that unrelated to tyre wear?
That wasn't tyre whip. When he got past me, he outbroke himself and he left me, pushed me onto the curb. I nearly spun. And
Yeah.
I just about caught it, so my tyres were dead. And then I went side by side through the newly renovated corner, and he just left me no room on the exit again, and my tyres were just burning up on the outside. So
Right.
yeah,
So kind of marbles, dirty tires effect, leaving
yeah,
you
pretty
with
much.
little left to fight with. But all in all, I think a very nice debut on Formula C. Um, I think you need a little tweak on your livery. It's not quite matching your teammate. Yours is a little bit more hot pink.
Oh, there.
Yeah.
Right, well he can change his because mine looks better.
Unfortunately, I've had to. I don't know if you've heard on the stream, but I've had to christen it Prawn GP with that colour scheme.
What do you
So,
feel? It's his livery, so you can label him that.
but have you enjoyed your race?
Yeah, it's good.
Did you enjoy the battle through the field and making your strategy work?
Yeah, it was good fun. I'll tell you what, it's refreshing to be on the multiplayer cars, but at the same time, they are hard to handle compared
Yeah.
to the F1 cars. They don't. I run no assist, so the traction on them compared to the F1 car, I don't know if you noticed, but it's terrible. But it's a good challenge though. I ran quite a high aero
Right.
for
Yeah.
the race, and throughout the chicanes it was massive because I was gapping people just through the last sector.
hmm Right. Okay. So, but of course, you were then a little bit more vulnerable on the straights.
Yeah, of course, but tit for tat in here. It's one or the other.
Yeah. Definitely. Um, good qualifying. Did you feel like you got everything out of the car today?
No, I didn't realise how close the delta was on the mediums on the multiplayer cars.
Yeah.
It was only 6/10, so I went out on the softs at the start thinking, oh well, mediums are going to be like 1.1 seconds, similar to the F1 cars, but no, the delta on the mediums was really good, so regretted going on the softs. Yeah, would have gone on the mediums.
Interesting, you know, because some of our drivers, it's a bit of a 50-50 situation. Some of them say there's very little difference in the multiplayer cars, and some are convinced there's no grip at all. So it's
No, the grip of them cars, honest to God, I'd rather be on ice, mate.
well, good. So it's a little bit like a Formula 1.5, I suppose, driving the
Yeah.
multiplayer cars relative to like the Formula 2s. But no, good to watch you. Nice to have you join the league, and yeah, congratulations on the podium tonight.
Cheers, man. Thank you for your time commentating.
No worries. Thanks a lot. Well, Bacon, did Tom turn up yet?
I'm in. Yeah.
Tom's here. Hi, Tom. Congratulations.
Hi.
A walk in the park for you, and a great result for the team.
Yeah, it was a really good result for the team, especially. It's our first 1-2, and we were hoping beforehand that we would get it. I think the medium-hard strategy worked out really well for us. Like Josh just said, the delta is not that large on the mediums, so it's quite easy to qualify on the mediums, especially when the grid is quite far apart. And it just worked perfectly for us both. So it's really good.
Yeah. You were feeling very confident on those mediums in qualifying today.
Yeah, and I didn't even get close to I think I could have gone like 4 or 5 tenths faster at least. You know, I went out quite late and I tried to do 2 runs, so I overflew the car a little bit and just go around twice. And my second one I spun, so I abandoned that one because my what was it, 15.3 was already quite good looking at the grid at the time. So I was quite happy with that.
Yeah, not too greedy. Didn't want to get into the 114s. We're happy with that quality. We had one time in the 114s, but yeah, very good. Do you agree with the with what Josh was saying there about the multiplayer cars feeling very different?
I don't quite know. I actually thought they were exactly equal to the equal performance setting, because when you look into time trial, there's a lot of people not using the, you can toggle whether it's equal performance or not.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people getting into high positions using their custom teams, so the performance has to be good, otherwise they wouldn't get that high in time trial.
Yeah.
But the thing that is different, and it's also different when using realistic cars, is the sound and the feeling of the car. Just those small things can have quite a big impact, actually.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's really interesting to hear your take on that. You said the strategy worked well for you. Did you have any trouble getting by anybody today after the pit stops?
Yeah, a little bit. I got stuck behind. I think it was. I don't quite know. And more black something. I think. I don't quite remember his name. Yeah, it might have been.
Right.
His internet was a little bit dodgy. I think he disconnected at one point as well, so I had to back off a little bit to avoid
the disconnecting
damage.
black car, I think, was probably Monarch. We definitely
yeah,
lost Monarch at one point.
Yeah, it was it. So I got stuck behind him a little bit because of his internet, so I had to back off a little bit to avoid him glitching into my car. But yeah, I got by eventually, and from there on out, the hards felt really, really good. Like I was setting fastest laps all the time as well, and
you got fastest lap on the hards despite people pitting for softs in the last 5 laps. So
they felt really good.
That must feel pretty satisfying. Or would you rather be pushed harder?
I think both are good. Last week I spun out, so I was actually quite satisfied just doing my own thing this time around and not having to worry about anything. But usually it's nice to have quite a good battle of fun. The planning was for Julian to also drive today, which I think he would have beaten me quite comfortably because he's really good around Spain.
Okay.
But eventually we will have a race together, and then it will be really exciting.
we're all licking our lips at the prospect of you versus Julian for sure. I'm glad you're not in the same team anyway. But do you fancy what chance do you give Cyan Racing challenging BMW Sauber in the championship?
Yeah, it's looking quite good. I mean, we've got people on around similar pace. Like all 3 of our guys are like they can match each other 1 for 1. So I think the consistency and just turning up each week is what it's going to come down to, because the pace is so equal. Yeah, and we've been lacking in that a little bit, but I think like from last week and this week, we're starting to see like we're really coming into our own now. So
excellent stuff. So will you be racing with us next week, or is it a week off for you?
I think I will be. I'm not actually sure, but I think I will be. I think I've got a lot of races from now on, because I've already missed 3, so there's just 1 more for me to miss.
Okay, yeah. So we've got Bahrain coming up next week, but yeah, hopefully we can see you and Julian on track together again. And see the fireworks. I think that'd be cool. Well,
definitely.
Congratulations. It was. I can't say that we spent a lot of time watching you today because you were so far off in the distance.
I get it.
But congratulations all the same. Great drive.
Thank you very much. Also for the commentary. Anyways, really good guys.
Thanks, man. Thank you. I think our last interview will be with Snarf Bacon. Is that right?
Yes, hello.
Yeah.
Hi, Snarf. Do you prefer Snarf or is it Snarfy?
Snarf is okay.
Okay, great. Looks like you got the elbows out and you had a last lap overtake there. That looked like a hard fought second place for you at the end.
Yeah, my pace was quite good. I didn't practice for this once, but his tires I think his tires drop off real quick, and then I came in the DRS overtook him, but I braked a little too late and I pushed him a little bit wide.
Yeah, I mean, he gave you the inside, and he was just telling us on the stream that he was running pretty high downforce, so your overspeed would have been quite considerable. And if you give someone the inside, you're taking the chance that they're going to outbrake themselves, I presume. But it looked hard, but it didn't look particularly brutal, should we say, from our stream anyway. I'm glad we caught it on the stream. But yeah, it looked like you were dicing around the rest of the lap, but just about managed to keep him on just behind you, especially through turn 10 at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. You said not much practice, but had you planned the strategy and the setup well ahead of the race tonight?
No, because normally one blood would race for me, but he sent me a half hour for the race. He sent me a message if I can race. So, and I was eating, so I was coming fast, and I didn't have practice, didn't know the strategy.
Wow. Okay. Well, brilliant. I mean, well done, especially, and I hope you don't get indigestion from eating too fast and being in a rush. But yeah, not the kind of great teamwork that we thought we were seeing from the Cyan Racing team. If One Blood is throwing you under the bus, but you did well. You did well there, and yeah, it was great to see a move right at the end of the race as well. How are you feeling about the next race? Will you be racing with us in Bahrain?
I think not. I can look. We have it.
You have a rota for when to disturb people's dinner.
Tom and One Blood are racing on Bahrain.
Okay, well maybe they'll appreciate you race engineering for them or helping along with practice. A great drive today, and yeah, great to see Cyan Racing 1-2 for the first time in Formula C.
Yeah, I'm really happy about that one.
Yeah,
Before
well
the race,
done.
I already said to Tom, maybe it's a 1-2 for us, and it's I've been a 1-2.
Brilliant stuff. Yeah, well, congratulations. Great to see, and yeah, I hope Cyan Racing can really push BMW Sauber towards the end of the season.
Yeah, we try our best, and I think it's gonna be tough, but it's yeah.
Good stuff. Well, congratulations, Snarf and Tom for 1-2. Well done.
Thanks.
Cheers, man.
Cheers.
Well, what about Bacon's closing thoughts then for our race tonight?
Very interesting to hear that the tyre wear wasn't as high as I predicted it to be.
Yep.
I mean, Storm was out there for quite a long time. What, like not 30, like 26 laps?
Yeah.
Or something like that. Barely getting above 70, so it seems like the tyres actually held out quite okay.
Yeah.
Compared to what I was thinking for the two-stop.
I mean, Storm might have a different story for us. He might say it was, an epic drive of tyre preservation and tremendous driving. But he was, yeah. Yeah, I do think that it was a combination of tyre wear and presumably Josh's setup that either allowed him to give the inside over to Snarf there, or maybe for Snarf to just get way more overspeed than Josh was expecting. We'll see if that results itself in an instant report. But I think if Price is going to get all strict on handing out penalties, he deserves a couple for himself tonight by the look of the stream. No, Storm says he was struggling. He was really struggling on those tyres. So I think you were about right. But yeah, Storm obviously went for a strategy that put the frighteners on you at the start. Anyway, you didn't like the look of that.
Definitely paid off, at least with the penalties.
It did. But yeah, I think BMW Sauber need to watch over their shoulders, because Cyan Racing team are really coming into form, especially with Tom at the front there tonight. Stay tuned with us for Formula C every Tuesday night to see how this season shakes out. It's a new format designed by us here at Celeritas. And remember that our divisional races are Friday and Saturday night on the stream. And we will. I'm sure we're coming up with all kinds of ideas for the off season, for some interesting formats and challenges. Well, good to talk to you tonight, Bacon. Great to have you on with us, and we will. It's a shame it wasn't a thriller, but we did get plenty of finishes, which we can't say for sure has been the pattern of Celeritas races lately. Well, thanks very much everyone for watching. thanks for all your engagement and your support of the drivers in the race. And yeah, tune in next week, and we will catch you all on the next race day. Cheers, guys.